Next we're going to hear from Steve Whitney. Steve? Let's go up. There we go. Let's see.
Fine, thanks.
Good?
Yeah.
All right.
So I think there's been a lot of music tonight. So I think we kind of keep the sound thing going. So the first one I'm going to read is called Prodigy. And I was reading an article about Stevie Wonder, probably one of the great, not only the greatest musician, one of the greatest blind musicians that ever lived. And he talked about how, he would hear music and sounds. Probably all the musicians in the room tonight probably can, pick up music from sounds. So this is called, pick up music from just, normal sounds, like the slamming of the door, cracking of an egg or anything like that. This is called Prodigy. She was amazed at the way her baby at such an early age would react to sounds around him. He would reach to a place with his ears where he knew sounds would live. He always had the same vibration run through him whenever those sounds were made. He would turn his head at an angle to pick up the sound as if he knew he must hear the sound at that moment because there would never be that same sound again, even if it repeated again. Even if his ears oriented him to an idea that exploded at different points and hardened into a core. Even if the core caused him to rise up and look around the room. Even if the repeated sound was a skip on a CD, a recording of a voice over the phone telling you what time it was. Even if the sound was the hands on a clock moving over each second on the clock's face. Even if it was a sound that made a maid cry, a sound that knocked over buildings, that lifted shoes off the floor, off the sidewalk, off the rug, or off the grass. Even if peace is based on everyone liking the same sound and leaving the sound to simmer within us, to blossom and expand whenever the sound comes back and gathers everything it needs to rise from the walls, from under the ground, from behind the clouds, from beneath the water, or inside the cabinet doors, from the tweed woven into the carpets, from the flower patterns in the kitchen curtains, from the treads on tires, or the handles of the toolboxes, or the arms of the reclining chairs, from the paperwork spread across the desks, from the arch of the colors in the rainbow, from the swirls of ice cream when stirred up with strawberry cheesecake flavor blended into the ice cream. Even if it was a sound that made hips move, heads bob at a half beat, and start a reaction that straightens the kinks in our chains, and before her baby can raise his head to listen for other sounds that everyone else has absorbed and made, there is the sound of unity.
Nice. Yeah.
So the next one is, I was on the web today and I noticed how many things people write contracts for nowadays. And I actually saw this rental agreement. I looked up the most absurd contracts, that there are. And one was that the people who own the apartment had the tenants had to have wherever they wanted to visit over the house had to be reviewed by the landlords. So that was kind of absurd. So this poem was called The Agreement. When I agreed to the terms of service, I had no idea it would lead to this. I agreed because terms were no longer part of life. Everything was done without limits. So when someone offered me terms, actual limits and boundaries that could possibly define the next decade, I agreed. I thought I could borrow the terms and sell them to society, but I had no idea it would lead to me having to walk from New York to San Francisco in less than 90 days. Now 90 days seems like plenty of time to walk from New York to San Francisco, but it was not the length of time. Like I said, it was the terms that when I just heard the word mentioned, I thought would be like gold. But the terms were that I had to walk during the season of thunder and lightning. And since the star exploded and left debris in the universe that landed on the last populated areas of Earth, this thunder and lightning season would sometimes last 30 years, depending on how many people agreed to terms and how many terms they had agreed to, and whether or not the terms were written on a scroll, the side of a building, on a rock, or burned into the bark of a tree. But since the terms were to walk from New York to San Francisco in the season of thunder and lightning, I agreed to write my own terms. But before I could, another star exploded and left debris on Earth that burned the hands of anyone who tried to sign a contract. I'm glad everybody liked those. That was one of those ones where I was talking about writing from prompts, and I was inspired by what you guys said, because a lot of times I write from prompts, and I find myself going back and change what I wrote from the prompt, thinking it's, just not fitting, but I find I go back to the original, and so I thought I'd test that tonight. And then this is the last one. I know everybody's had rejection letters, from publishers, and this poem is called Thanks But No Thanks. And this is one that I received, and it actually had a link in the email that I got back that sent me to a workshop. So I got there just to try to tell me something. Okay, thanks but no thanks. Thank you for your submission, but after a careful reading of your manuscript, we feel we don't have a need for a plot where zombies who were former members of the Irish National Liberation Army overthrow the world with a pickle jar full of nitroglycerin. Good luck and keep writing. Thank you for your submission, but after a careful reading of your manuscript, we don't see the story arc in the plot where the zombie children of the Irish National Liberation Army write a manifesto with pink polka dot crayons demanding 2 days of school per week and a cafeteria menu of Twinkies, Fruit Loops, chocolate ice cream, and Snickers bars. Keep the faith and write on. Thank you for your submission, but after a careful reading of your manuscript, we feel that your plot where an African-American zombie wears a flak jacket while shooting random workers at his former job because he felt he always got all the grunt work and was unjustly fired is politically incorrect. It may offend God-fearing white Christians who feel they had nothing to do with slavery. Maybe suggest rewriting the plot so the African-American zombie follows the appropriate procedures and goes to HR, even though the HR rep in your story is a zombie-eating dragon. Cheers, my friend, and be the best wordsmith you can be. And oh, by the way, if you don't want to receive rejection letters like this again, our fiction writing workshop is just $999 for 3 weeks. The mere price of a couple of trips to the casino or maybe 90 days of your Lipitor prescription. But remember, the workshop includes tea, cookies, an occasional plate of vegetable fritters, and our award-winning teacher, Joe, spelled J-O, who has published 2 fantasy novels, including Revenge of the Zombie Lizard and Revenge of the Zombie Raccoon. Both of Joe's novels have movie deals in the making, but she refuses to move to Hollywood from Altoona, Kansas, where she lives with her husband, Joe, spelled J-O-E, and their poodles, Ransom and Rampage. We like to believe she does not want to move because she wants to be closer to the workshop. Click on the link below to see a sample of Joe's priceless advice from one of her workshops. Wait, if your protagonist was a priest in chapter 2, it is unlikely that he would be robbing a bank in chapter 3, especially if he was a born-again Christian who swore never to relapse into his Kentucky Fried Chicken addiction, unless he found out that God is really dead and is coming back as a reincarnated Colonel Sanders, said Joe to Taylor Johnson Williams, a lawyer who attended the workshop only because Joe gave him a free session to help pay his lawyer fees when Joe hired him to defend her in a copyright case where Joe had been accused of plagiarizing 250 pages of her 275-page sequel to Revenge of the Zombie Raccoon, entitled Revenge of the Zombie River Rat. Wait, it is highly unbelievable that in chapter 4, a couple would let the state move people from a homeless shelter into their home, when in chapter 3, that couple checked extremely conservative Republicans on their voting ballot and thought all homeless people could have jobs if they really wanted to, and that all people who wore jeans slept until 3 in the afternoon, said Joe to Margaret Winco, the old lady with the famous braided blue hair who attended the workshop only for the vegetable fritters, because the signature buffet at the casino no longer served vegetables, and Medicare no longer covered her Lipitor prescription, and her doctor recommended a diet of carrots and cucumbers to keep her cholesterol down. Wait, you don't need that adjective, or that transitive verb, or that third-person narrative, or that first-person narrative, or that second-person narrative, or any narrative at all, said Joe to Colin, the green-haired teenager who attended the workshop only because the downhill slope of the sidewalk that led to the front door of the abandoned church building where the workshop was held kept his skateboarding skills in tune. If you are impressed with this advice, which we're sure you are, sacrifice the Lipitor and the trip to the casino and register for this workshop today. There are only 2 slots left. Our friendly customer service reps are just frothing at the bit to take your calls. If you call in the next hour, we will give you a 10% discount on the fee. And P.S., if you don't register for the workshop, good luck placing your work elsewhere, like in your back pocket to pull out and read at an open mic in a ghost town.
Because Russ is a Taurus, which is wind, and I'm a Pisces, which is water. So, and these were both written by Robert Fanning. The first one is Song of the Sea to the Seashore. Unraveling velvet, wave after wave, driven by wind, unwinding by storm, by gravity thrown, however heaving to reach you, to find you, I've striven, undulant, erosive, blown, or lying flat as glass when you're falling clear down. I can't swallow you, so why have I felt I've reached you? As 2 reflected stars surface lie near, as if the sky's close element is one in me, where starfish cleave to stones. If you're so far, I've touched you, I know. But my rush subsides, out meetings only leaves desires, fleeting trace, every place I touch you changes shape. Shore lie down, undo, I'll fill your thirsty bones with blue. I'll flood your very cave, and we'll be one. By Robert Fanning. Song of the Shore to the Sea. It's never enough being one. Why do I hope to contain you? Always undoing and undone. Every place you touch me changes shape. It's not my way to just lie down, to sink, effaced and full. If you swallow me, your brain and half of us is gone. Desire's fulfillment is 2, not 1, or our time of meetings are through. So hurl your wet force forward, sea, take me wave by wave. Pearl maker, pull me deep, out once and need a momentary blue. What I erect, you spill, castles, boulders, cliffs, my love's endurance, grain by grain. Your adorations reign, touch my bones, my canyons carved evidence, even the wound who wounds you with stone. And I'm going to finish up with the first poem that I ever wrote for Russ on Valentine's Day. Valentine from Baja, Shangri-Baja. Suspended between sky and sand, seeming to float twixt shimmering sun-kissed waves, rising like billowing sails, home. On warm, wave-caressed shores, sipping gold, gazing into undulating seas, contemplating timelessness in your eyes.
Thank you, Mary. Joyce? Come on up, Joyce Colson.
I'm always fascinated in how an open mics we end up with themes. And we started out with a wonderful theme of how closely related poetry and music is. And then, thanks to George, right after the break, we switched to a pornographic theme. Which is an irony because my first poem is a poem about a love song. And my second poem is an illegal pornographic poem from Fiona Fantasia. So this first poem is called Feelings. Sounds like a familiar title, doesn't it? By the way, I cannot sing or I cannot play an instrument, so I won't even try to sing the lines of this. Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Feelings of love. Remember that rock song, Feelings? Ever have those feelings of love? Ever have a loved one pass on? Ever have the loneliness of unrequited love? Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Feelings of love. What would you say if you fell in love? What would you say if that love fell in love with you? What would you say if that love was forever? Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Feelings of love. Does love make you dance with joy? Does love make you sing loud with joyous song? Does love make you smile a happy smile? Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Feelings of love. Why do I believe in love? Why do I believe love is the only thing? Why do I believe love is all there is? Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Feelings of love. Is love really that important? Is love really that wonderful of an experience? Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Feelings of love. Well, if it isn't, then here goes another silly love song. And now, a little porn. This is called Please Be Mine. Please be mine and I'll copy your field book, pardon me a criminal, and I will embezzle you in bed. There will be no 50 Shades of Grey, only a rainbow of possibilities and a gay old time behind bars. The judge told me my fee was illegal, but I was conned for 10 years to life. My DUI was showing skin and the toilet overflowed. So please be mine and you can open carry me across the threshold because our cell has only one bed.
All right, we're going to hear from Jonathan. Come on up.
Hi everybody, I'm Jonathan. I don't feel the need to explain what I'm wearing, I'm sorry.
I just want to say, I love your t-shirt. I'm Irish. I'm not smart enough.
I'm all about. I love you, Lydia. Eric back there, Lydia back there. But you know what? Symbolism is very. I'm very big on symbolism right now, so I'll say something. They know that. What's that? Not that tall. Alright, I couldn't, this is the second time I'm doing this, so of course I'm going to be nervous. 3 is my favorite number. I was born on May 3rd, and I feel like the third time I do this is when I'm going to get my step and get my flowing, and, you know, find my voice. So I figure second, and 2 is not even a good number for me. Like, it can, why not? I'm trying to choose, the truth or bullshit? What do people want? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes all I want is bullshit, but most of the time all I want is truth. So this is my first hybrid that I created in 2015 of truth and bullshit, truth dominant, with bullshit undercurrent. Alright, and it's called Fantasy Pity Sex, with 3 X's, triple X, 4. Oh shit, I didn't practice this. See, what happened was I put this together yesterday and today because I wanted to make a hybrid and I couldn't choose the other shit. Okay. I have no ass, I have no tongue, I have 0 cash, and no, I won't forever be body young. I can battle and go by with a fragile charm and wit, but I never know when or if I either have it or don't have it. I forget, even while you're wet. Edit. The only magic I have is graphic. All I have that has a good grip. As hard as it is, it ain't hard to miss. And grab it. It's the head of my dick. Yes, that's it. I've got a lot to say, but more so ready to slap show people. Clean as a brand new saxophone that blows and whistles. All I have is my big, thick, shiny, pretty, handsome dick that lasts beyond 60 minutes, thank you, and fits and gets bigger and aims better the longer it packs in the crack. Yes, fresh chef. He will need a couple to-go boxes to keep it from going pop. I got lost. Give me a second. This is shit. Boxes to keep it from going pop. Basically, I will admit, all I got is a dick that won't and can't quit. But I let it. I missed out on so much shit. And it's all that I got that's perfect. If all I have is this, let me boast and talk about it. Otherwise, you're going to have to take a shot and sit. As long as there are no kids nor suddenly threatened homophobics, well then I'm forced to. I'd rather just show it. I'll strip it out and you will call it art. You will call it art. You will call it a sculpture. You will call it concrete. Did you all sit smart? Hey, no one today got hit with the whip from something that's been allowed to go so strong, lifted in a spin with stored up force like that of the tail of a crocodilian. Lift it in. We're going to sample a song called No More Words by Berlin. No More Words. It's very ironic, and it would be a kind of, this was a song, a kind of cool sample to go subtle in the background. But yes, penis. Oh no, I skipped a line. Show. This is what it stands for now. SHOW. See how over we already are. But yes, penis, I know I wouldn't have to have written this if I was using you at your best, to your fullest. I'm sorry, Dick. Now I know I'm losing it. My sanity is being led beyond electric fences. Celibacy, 7 years. I'm leaking to death in here. And And I'm a bi guy who loves to fuck, who celebrates celibacy. So that's fucking TMZ. But I ain't no celebrity. Otherwise I wouldn't have to have disappeared for a mind-boggling, mind-fucking, mind-blowing, and mind-crippling several years. I've been too fucked up to see how stuffed and backed up I am inside. I'm gonna need your backup on this one. Pile high. When you gotta go, and just ain't healthy for me to hold it another year. Another year, I'm begging everybody, neither of us have to care. No, not anymore, I'm done. I'm no wise monk. I need lots and lots of all levels of sex. Calling all, I prefer someone I know, trust, and care for, period. But I won't let this decade go meaningless. All strangers that came here, I'm not sorry, but I can't do this. This is a 7-year itch. 7 years. And that's the truth. That's some holy shit. I choose a special friend onto my dick, the third to accept, because I believe 3 is blessed. Before the explosion, don't worry, I'll be able to keep on pumping, rivers flow until you get yours in. That is what would free me of so much frustration and bullshit. But follow the glow after. As it fades into salt water, I promise I'll shut your ass up as soon as I hop or jump up out of it. Hop. I predict it would certainly help in your recovery. And I know that is just how it ultimately has to be done for me. So unless it doesn't fit, let's expand the meaning of the word friendship. And wait just a fucking minute, hold up a minute, I ain't finished yet. It gets bigger. And take it with a sacred holy grain of pepper. Or are we not forever? Being there for your friend when your friend needs sex. I ain't resorting to a stranger I don't care for yet. This is evolution at its finest. I'm pushing it. And I push baby in a corner. You see how I circle all around because I'm trying to save the trees? And this is a big, big poem. I'm pushing it, baby, but baby didn't fit. And she put herself in the corner. I didn't do that on purpose. So baby's in the corner. And the last line. But who are we to be mindfully pushing evolution?
Inspire me so I can. There'll be some good times there, but there's going to be some downtime. So I'll keep your inspiration in my head and keep you going while I'm there with all the flatness and the Fox News and the other things I'll be subjected to. Mom's good food, that's a good thing. I think the poems I enjoy reading most are the early ones when I was first discovering my voice because they were so big for my sanity. And so fun to write way back then. So here's one of those. For Dennis, as he drives home. Long after the poets have left the Blue Monk, I sit chain-smoking, sipping beer at an outside table. I think of Dennis McBride's latest poem and how I'll celebrate its greatness when I get home by burning my childhood Bible.
I think of the latest poet crush and how I'll write my best work for her eyes. I've been waiting for her eyes a long time. I've looked deeply in both the matter and antimatter of her eyes and have found no false thing residing therein. I say to her eyes, I am your friend. May I dedicate my checkbook to your eyes. It'll be done in a month. Let's take a long walk. Just take your eyes along and the rest of yourself that makes me smile. I think of this and other shit, jotting things down in my notebook. Smoking, drinking, watching the happy drunk couples pass with laughter, some holding hands, some kissing, and I think, well, at least I've got a shitload of female friends. That's good enough, I guess. A tear staggers down my cheek and splashes onto my notebook, smack in the middle of where I'd written my latest crush's name. A hand squeezes my shoulder. Dennis? Wrong, Mike G. A man stands before me with a bottle of Perrier, shaved head, ridiculous silver goatee down to his balls. He wears a turquoise tuxedo, his teeth straight, white. Who are you? Let me put it this way, he says. You've had a great night, but now that everyone's gone, your grief has returned. The self-doubt, the belief that you are flawed and so deeply misfitted in this world that all you can do to make sense of it is write your silly little self-referential poems in the hope that someday someone will say yes to your complicated dark soul. Do you know who the fuck I am? Oh, how you like to suffer, Mike G. Who are you? Wide is his shit-eating smile. I'm MC Guimond. You at 68. No. He holds up his right hand 3 inches from my face and works his double-jointed thumb like I've always done. The scar from 3 stitches at age 9, the same as mine. I stand, look both ways down the sidewalk. Dennis! Dennis! Yeah, who knows where the fuck he is? Dennis can't save you now! None of them can. And in 6 months you won't give a shit about your precious poets. Impossible. Have I been drugged? Not drugged, Mike G. Lucky. And let me tell you why. In 6 months after a reading, a blonde in a blue dress will come up to you and say, you are my favorite writer ever. And you, Mike G, are finally going to play the game with the girls right. I don't play games with people. Shut up, son, and listen. And by the way, yes, you did. Yes, you do. I am you. I should know. You're going to drop the faggy, oh, I'm so blessed and happy to be here with all of you great poets. I love you all. Bullshit. You're going to look her cold in the eyes and say, buy me a drink. And she will. She has money. Money, dummy! See how fun that is, right? Money, dummy! You will leave your precious poets for her and move to France. You will fuck her and many beautiful women and men. You will stop writing poems, fag. Never! Oh yes, she has connections. She'll help get your novel published. Remember the novel, Mike G? Of course, she'll change 95% of it, but you'll be famous, rich, and the change from Mike G to MC Guimond will be complete. No! It's my baby! My fucking novel is my baby! Relax, Mike G, he says, patting me on the head. She'll just take out the scene where the horse pees on the bratty little girl, the toddler with the bloody tampon in her mouth, and of course, the dog rape chapter. No! Not the dog rape chapter! That's my best writing ever! I don't give a fuck what Robin says anymore. Robin was right, idiot. She was right about everything. That's why she left you to move to Amsterdam. We should have listened to her more. And that whole dolphin, pigeon, shape-shifting reptilian bullshit had to go. We couldn't market that garbage. What's left of my goddamn baby? Calm down, baby. You turn an ugly thing into a pretty thing. And you do it for the money, the pussy,
the praise. No! No! One more thing, Mike G! You're gonna love this one! MC Guimond unzips his pants, unveils an enormous penis, shakes it in the Mike G face. Implant, Mike G! You're gonna clean up your act and become a fucking machine! You're gonna quit drinking and smoking! No! You're gonna eat raw food and play tennis with the yuppies! No! The deep anxiety and erectile dysfunction that drove your poetry and your so-called courage makes you want to puke will be a buried corpse in your miserable, frustrated past. You're not going to waste time inspiring others to follow their greatness path. Fuck their greatness path. Fuck community. You'll be too busy fucking to care, and fuck Dennis for pride too. No! Pretentious asshole. I'll live and die with my addictions and my flaws. I'd rather languish and thrive in hell here with Dennis McBride and Chris Luna and all these other fuck-ups than be safe and false like you, not me. Fool. You will be MC Guimond. Don't you want any pussy? Pussy! I grab my 68-year-old neck and twist it dead, shove my face to the cement, drag me by the feet to the dumpster, and throw me in. I follow the trail of my blood back to my table outside the Blue Monk, drain a shot of Maker's Mark, light a smoke. With all thoughts of poet crushes, poet pussy, poet glory crushed, I take pen to paper and write this poem for the poets I'll always, always love.